Typically, a business strategy will outline how to grow the business, how to distinguish the business from the competition, and outperform them.
As per the definition provided previously, business strategies include least cost, differentiation, and focus. For example, common business strategies that are generic to many industries and manufacturers include low cost, best cost, broad differentiation.
Competitive advantages mirror the strategies used to create them. A competitive advantage exists when an organization is able to provide the same benefits from a product or service at a lower cost than a competitor. Low cost advantage. Deliver benefits that exceed those of a competitor's product or service. Differentiation advantage. Or create a product or service that is better suited to a given customer segment than what the competition can offer. Focus advantage. The result of this competitive advantage is superior value creation for the organization and its customers. If this advantage is successfully implemented and marketed, it should result in improved profits and market share. To explore how low-cost, differentiation, and focus-based competitive advantages could be interpreted in an organization and its supply chain, we will explore each of these strategies in more detail next. Advantages of business strategy. Low-cost advantage strategies. Supply chain strategies consistent with a low-cost approach to competition include a variety of methods to reduce cost in all areas of the supply chain, including resource extraction, transportation, warehousing and location, and design of retail facilities. A powerful nucleus company with a low price strategy and a large market share may exert great leverage on its suppliers. Such a company may be able to require suppliers to cut facility costs, relocate, adopt lean manufacturing, change employment practices, and so forth. A low-cost strategy is adopted in supply chain strategy as high operational efficiency, standardized products, and tight supplier inventory control. Supplier quality also needs to be high, or rework and returns will cut deeply into the thin profit margins of this model. Supply chain metrics need to measure efficiency from many perspectives, including asset utilization, inventory turnover, and various direct, indirect, and total cost measures. A low-cost strategy should not be confused with target costing. Target costing is the process of designing a product to meet a specific cost objective. Target costing involves setting the planned selling price, subtracting the desired profit as well as marketing and distribution costs, thus leaving the required manufacturing or target cost. In many cities, this strategy has resulted in the opening of numerous dollar stores, where the majority of the products are only $1 and the selection is huge. A variant on a low-cost strategy for multinational corporations is a global strategy, defined as a strategy that focuses on improving worldwide performance through the sales and marketing of common goods and services with minimum product variation by country. Its competitive advantage grows through selecting the best locations for operations in other countries. In addition to selecting low-cost countries for operations, this strategy benefits from economies of scale by selling products with little variation in all markets. The items themselves may be cheap, expensive, or a varying mix of products, but they can have a lower cost than the competition can offer because of these competitive advantages. Note that providing a product or service at the lowest price is generally not compatible with either differentiation or focus niche marketing strategies. The lower profit margins provided by this approach are more consistent with mass marketing. However, even low-cost products have to meet some quality standards to remain competitive. Also, price competition can exist within a niche or differentiated market. One luxury automobile may undercut another in price, for example, if it maintains a level of quality and a sterling reputation. Product or service differentiation advantage strategies. Determining how to differentiate a product or service begins with a competitive analysis of other companies in the market to see what they have to offer. Competitive analysis is an analysis of a competitor that includes its strategies, capabilities, prices, and costs. Once a company has analyzed the offerings of competitors, it may differentiate its products and services in a number of ways. This is known as product differentiation. Product differentiation is a strategy of making a product distinct from the competition on a non-price basis, such as availability, durability, quality, or reliability. The following are some types of differentiation: high quality, durability, appearance, performance, type of materials, and so on. Quality is often an order qualifier or an element necessary to even consider the purchase of a particular product. The diversity of the product line, offering customers many options. The opposite of this approach was Henry Ford's alleged claim that people could have his cars in any color they wanted as long as they wanted black. Greater reliability, which could be considered a type of quality, or special features not available from competing products or services. Taking quality as a differentiation strategy example, the idea is to gain a reputation for reliability and consistency, which requires solid investment in product development and the processes of source, make, especially quality assurance, and return. Quality can be a differentiator for perishable or fragile goods. In this case, transportation and storage are key areas to focus on in the supply chain strategy. For example, Tropicana not only invested in cutting-edge refrigerated trucks, but also developed a system to ensure that oranges were harvested at peak ripeness. Supply chain strategies appropriate for product differentiation include modular design combined with postponement to allow for last-minute customization to meet the specific consumer demand. A base model with numerous options to reduce the risk of obsolescence. For example, the same base could be used with upgraded subcomponents, while providing a large effective inventory, many configurations, with a small actual inventory. Collaboration with suppliers to develop innovative designs, numerous options appealing to different customer tastes, artistic design, and so on. Global track and trace technology to reduce the risk of counterfeit items or subcomponents. Differentiation, customer experience. Another way to differentiate a product or service is to provide a superior customer experience. When customer experience is the organization's primary competitive basis, the organization develops a thorough understanding of customer preferences to provide products and services that are just right and are available where and when the customer needs them. This could be as simple as a convenience store that is open at all times. When customized services are offered, the organization's supply chain needs to be sophisticated enough to measure the cost of offering these services to ensure that they remain profitable. From an inventory and logistics perspective, differentiation requires getting goods and services to customers based on their preferences while avoiding the need for expedited production or delivery the vast majority of the time. For example, Zappos.com is a shoe, jewelry, and clothing website that places customer service above all other priorities. Their customer service specialists are trained to take as much time as needed to help each customer, even calling them back after tracking down a difficult-to-find pair of shoes, rather than the standard call center philosophy of minimizing customer call time and thus cost. Since they don't offer above-average pay to call center employees, to ensure that they get only employees who want to provide this high level of personalized service, they offer a new employee a one-time cash offer to quit after the first week, thus providing an incentive for less committed employees to self-select out. In the business-to-business arena, customer experience may mean keeping the customer's operations up and running without interruption. For example, Sandvik Mining provides rock drilling equipment and parts for mining operations. In this industry,
Keeping the customer's equipment going over all work shifts, day in and day out, is more important than the price of the equipment and spare parts. Providing this reliable customer experience is what the organization differentiates itself on. Focus advantage strategies. Ways to create a focus advantage include niche marketing versus mass marketing, responsiveness, and innovation. Focus, niche marketing versus mass marketing. Companies can choose to develop products and services for a mass market or for a focused slice of a larger market, a niche market. Some examples of niche market approaches include catering to high net worth customers with products like luxury automobiles, yachts, large homes, or specialized services such as estate planning, personal training, or expensive cruises. Designing for a limited age group such as children or senior citizens with special needs instead of serving a broader population. Providing products or services for residents of a particular geographic area, such as growing vegetables for a neighborhood market, rather than for packaging and shipping around the nation or world. Niche marketing shares some characteristics with product-service differentiation. Both cases, the product or service
provided to customers has special features. Differentiation by quality, for example, can be the same thing as catering to high net worth customers. Low net worth customers or value shoppers can also be a niche market. Therefore, some supply chain strategies will work for both approaches. Collaboration to achieve distinctive design is one example. Depending upon the niche, sourcing may focus more on finding special expertise or high-quality materials rather than on low-cost labor or materials. An international variant on niche marketing is a multi-country strategy, a strategy in which each country market is self-contained. Customers have unique product expectations that are addressed by local production capabilities. Focus, responsiveness. Perhaps the most obvious example of responsiveness is the fast food industry that grew up in the last half of the 20th century, led by McDonald's. Diners at fine restaurants will happily wait half an hour for their specially cooked steak, but employees on short lunch breaks become impatient with even a few minutes in line as their sandwiches are prepared. In the early days of the Toyota Prius automobile, a highly differentiated car, buyers were known to wait for months for a new vehicle. The same phenomenon occurred when the Volkswagen Beetle first came to the United States, where it was both highly differentiated and a low-cost option. But business people or diplomats on assignment expect a rental car or limousine to be ready immediately when they arrive at the airport. Manufacturers of clothing prosper or go bankrupt by their ability to bring the latest seasonal designs to market rapidly. Perishable products, such as raw food items, must be delivered rapidly, unlike preserved foods. Services may also compete on the basis of speed by cutting time spent waiting on the phone, standing in line, or processing paperwork. Supply chains designed for responsiveness may rely on substantial supplies of safety stock to avoid outages. Overstocked seasonal items typically go on sale at the end of the season. They may also have multiple warehouses to place products nearer to users. Third-party providers of rapid transportation, such as package delivery services, were developed to suit the needs of such supply chains. Focus, innovation. A focus on innovation means ensuring that the organization's products and services remain so cutting-edge that they become must-have items for the target market. Apple is a clear example of this competitive model. To succeed at innovation, an organization needs to not only invest heavily in research and development, but also learn about changing customer desires related to functionality and style. Supply chains enable an innovation strategy by focusing on time to market and time to volume. Time to market creates the differentiation between the organization and its competitors. Products that get to market sooner will have a longer amount of time to capture market share before the competition copies the innovation. Time to volume is critical because demand will peak in the early period of the release and then drop off relatively quickly. Failures to satisfy demand during the early period will severely impact profits. A supply chain that is fully integrated with product design will provide designers with materials and subcomponents that can be quickly and efficiently sourced and produced. This requires close integration of information flows, processes, and physical plants and assets. One intent of an innovation focus is to speed the design and prototyping phases of a product so it will get to the market quickly. The organization also needs to establish defined quality levels for all suppliers so that the right parts arrive on time with no delay. Since compressing design and innovation increases the risk of quality issues, this places more of the quality burden on suppliers, which may result in delays if they come up short. For example, on the verge of its initial release in April 2015, the Apple Watch had a supply chain issue with a defective subcomponent. A part that made a gentle tapping sensation on the wrist was found to be defective. Since quality control found this issue before the watches were shipped to customers, rework but not recall was needed, and one of the two suppliers of the subcomponent needed to be abandoned. The remaining supplier needed extra time to ramp up to the increased demand. This created a bottleneck on time to volume at a critical time for the innovative technology. Choosing a business strategy. While some companies may focus primarily on one competitive strategy, others may pursue a mix of strategies. Note, however, that making one strategy the priority may make other strategies difficult to achieve. For example, providing high quality at the lowest price is a challenge, but not all the strategies are mutually exclusive. As noted above, product differentiation and niche marketing fit well together. Either responsiveness or low cost may be a key competitive factor that differentiates an organization from its market rivals. That being said, trying to be all things can dilute the competitive advantage organizations get from specialization. While a company that focuses on innovation needs to keep costs competitive, and a cost strategy company still needs to pay attention to quality, these additional considerations aren't the factors that drive strategic decisions. For example, Spirit Airlines has decided to be the dollar store of airlines. Since it is an airline, it obviously needs safe airplanes, but strategic decisions are based on the budget travel model. The number of seats per plane should be maximized, even if this impacts customer comfort, so their seats don't recline. They also charge for water and all other items and put advertisements all over the plane. Customer complaints are high with this airline, but they get many repeat customers, even many complaining customers, because the price of the flight is the driving factor behind many actual purchase decisions. Once an organization has decided on a business strategy, it uses these choices to drive the organizational strategy and eventually the supply chain strategy. Competitive advantages mirror the strategies used to create them. A competitive advantage exists when an organization is able to provide the same benefits from a product or